If she comes in. Well, hello. I think I saw a 0 pop up on the screen, and there we are. Something to talk about. Welcome. We're searching for Vaughn, waiting for her to check in. But as always, I'm here in the pizzeria, and we're getting ready to order lunch.
Pizza? It sure beats my peanut butter and jelly I was going to have. Whoa.
I sent a note out to Vaughn and everything, and I said, I just cannot get pizza off of my brain this week. So, I've just been seeing ads about pizza. I get them all the time popping up on Facebook, from Domino's.
Are you kidding? You order it from Chicago.
Well, I do.
Dry ice.
I do get it from Chicago because I love my deep dish pizza. And I just recently here in the DFW area, there are a bunch of Chicagoans that got together that started a DFW Chicago connection. Chicagoans from that are in the DFW area.
We got it.
Right away, the very first thing when they invited people to join the group, the very first question is, where do I find deep dish pizza in the DFW area? And so little by little, they're popping up with some of these Chicago transplants that have opened up restaurants where you can get Portillo's dogs and the authentic deep dish pizzas.
So tell the folks the big difference between Chicago style pizza and pizza anywhere else.
You know what? When I started looking even deeper into this,
very cute.
Almost every city has its own version of pizza. I realized, my co-host on Trash Talk, Brandon Navarra, I didn't realize that there's a specific type of Detroit pizza. And Detroit pizza is almost like a deep dish pizza, but it's done in a rectangle shaped pan. And that even makes more sense to me because now you get even more of that crunchy crust. But there are so many varieties of different pizza. And I mentioned to Vaughn that I got to talk about it because, and I know that she is from the East Coast, from New Jersey originally. New York, New Jersey, and everything, they love their thin crust pizza. In fact, it makes my blood boil whenever I see somebody with a New York pizza that is thin and they cut it into these huge slices and then they take the slice of pizza and they fold it in half.
You're right. I know that bothers the heck out of you.
To eat it.
I know.
I mean, to me, that's
I can't think
sacrilegious to take a piece of pizza and fold it in half in order to eat it. If anything, cut it in another thin slice.
I can't think of doing that myself.
It's just because a thin slice pizza, if it's cut in wedges, if you pick it up from the crust, where's it gonna? It's gonna.
Yeah.
And
we got that.
In order to get you,
got the picture.
You got the visual.
Thank you.
With deep dish pizza, you need a knife and fork.
Oh boy, do you?
To eat it.
Oh yeah, but that's also at our age, it's not the best.
Well, but who cares about that aspect?
Well, it does play a little bit.
I think I like pizza because pizza covers all the food groups. You got your dairy, you got your meat, you got your grains. If you have a beer, then you got your you have your liquids. I mean, you can cover all the bases.
I know, but at our age, I'm trying to watch the salts, the dairy. You make it so hard.
I know, but in that case, what you do is, and you're a big cheese pizza lover.
Yeah.
So go for the cheese pizza, but if you want, to me, a diet pizza is all veggies. That's a diet pizza. That and believe me,
it's not as much fun. I mean, if you're gonna have pizza.
Oh, but you can do a heck of a pizza with veggies too. When you look at the list of veggies that you can put on a pizza.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. You should do that.
And it used to be mushrooms, onions, and green pepper. Those were basically the veggie ingredients.
Right.
But now you can put asparagus, you can put broccoli, you can put 12 different kinds of mushrooms. You put black olives, green olives, and I mean, almost any kind of vegetable that you can think of that you can grill too, you can put on a pizza.
And you do eat all that.
Yeah. And also who is the one that decided that pizza was a 4-cheese process? I mean, pizza when we were growing up was basically mozzarella cheese. That was the cheese that you put on a pizza.
That's the way it should be.
But now they put a combination of mozzarella, provolone, cheddar.
It's not good for you.
No.
That's
Parmesan.
not how it should be. Just the
mix
mozzarella.
It all. Well, I know. That's you.
Everybody can tell what I like.
Make life simple, right?
Well, yeah, and again, I mean, unless you're going to exercise and go run a few miles after you have the pizza, or you've run a few miles before the pizza.
My old running group. We used to go out sometimes
running group.
My former running group, I should say, back in Illinois.
Yeah.
Once a month, we would go out for a moonlight run.
Yes.
Remember? We'd go out for a moonlight run, and then we would gather at a pizzeria because we called it Calories Lost and Found. If you
guys ran.
We ran to eat and eat to run.
Right, yeah. Because you did pancakes sometimes in the morning.
Well,
on Sundays.
My former running club was called the Park Forest Running and Pancake Club. And
they were true to their word.
And it started with a couple people that would go out for a Sunday morning run, and then they would fire up the grill and cook pancakes for all of the runners.
Or if it was too cold or it wasn't, whatever. Sometimes
you remember our motto? Start slowly and taper off.
That's just...
So, but when you move around to different parts of the country, you find the pizza is different.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody wants to say that this is an authentic New York pizza or an authentic Chicago style pizza. There are so many varieties. For instance, we were just talking earlier about a thin crust pizza.
Yeah.
I like thin crust pizza too sometimes.
Yeah.
But there is something called a Chicago cut. And that is when you take the pizza and you cut it this way and that way, in squares. In
square, yeah.
And you pick it up and it's manageable.
I can't believe that. Are you telling me that that's only Chicago does that?
No, I've always known it as a Chicago cut. And when I order a large or an extra large pizza, I sometimes say, "Can I get it Chicago cut?" And most pizzerias know what that is. Yeah, they better.
But here in Texas, triangle.
Well, in
pie shape.
It depends.
Slices.
The hand tossed pizza usually is a thicker dough, a thicker crust. And I don't always.
Oh! Look who's here!
Our pizza buddy just dropped in. You're
Did Mark tell you what happened?
No.
I've been sitting backstage waiting to be invited in. So I finally texted you and Mark, and I showed a picture of me sitting backstage waiting to be invited in. And Mark said that was last week's. He said that was last week's link.
Oh my God!
I had gone into last week's link instead of today's link, and I've just been sitting here twiddling my thumbs and waiting to be invited. I thought maybe your show ahead, your show before us ran long. So I was just waiting, and then finally I texted both you and Mark, and he's like, "That was last week's link." So I said, "Oh my God, I'm coming." Sorry, sorry.
No, we've just been sitting here in the pizzeria and we're already a few slices ahead of you.
Okay, well, I'll do my best to catch up. So
do you like pizza?
In. So, pizza.
Do you like pizza, Vaughn?
So Lauren, I love pizza. So I do. I love pizza, but I will tell you that as I've aged, I can't eat as like pizza the way I used to. Like the tomato sauce has really started to affect me, not greatly, but just heartburn issues. And so I usually now go for the pizza that has, like the white sauce, or not it's the tomato sauce that can kind of cut me like a sword. Right. So, but no, I love pizza. I don't think, well, excuse me. I do know somebody who doesn't like pizza. My Emily does not love pizza. She's been known to take a when she was younger, she would take a paper towel and wipe off the cheese and the pepperoni and whatever toppings were on the pizza and eat
the bread.
And it just eat the bread. Right. Yeah. But I do. I love pizza.
Our grandson, Liam, sometimes didn't he just take?
Well, he used to.
He used to take the cheese off of the pizza and eat the crust with the tomato sauce. He liked the bread.
Yes, exactly.
But when we order a pizza, we generally ask light sauce, because again, with tomato sauce, sometimes it's a tomato paste based, sometimes it's tomato sauce. But some pizzerias put lots of oregano and parsley and all kinds of spices in with the sauce, whereas I would rather have a purer sauce and then if they're going to add a couple of those things, put that in with the cheese and the toppings.
Isn't there such a thing as a stuffed pizza?
Sure.
Stuffed crust?
And do they really? I don't know, stuffed pizza. So
there's stuffed crust and there's stuffed pizza. Well, the deep dish concept is almost like a stuffed pizza. They start with cheese on the sauce, cheese on the bottom, your sausage and ingredients, and then more cheese on the top. So it's kind of stuffed. But also, you talk about a stuffed pizza. If you take a regular pizza, put all the ingredients and fold it over and crimp it, that's a calzone, and that's almost like a stuffed pizza.
Oh, I don't like calzone.
Because it's got the crust on it.
Sorry. I am so plain. I'm sorry. So then what do you like on your pizza, Vaughn?
I'm really not I like black olives, green olives, onions, green peppers, pepperoni. Yeah, the only thing I don't like, I wouldn't want anchovies on my pizza. And I also don't like a sweet ingredient on my pizza. If I'm going to have a pizza, it's going to be a savory pizza. So none of the pineapple and that kind of stuff on my pizza.
Chicken?
Yeah, sure. Chicken, any kind of meat, really.
Broccoli. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I like it all. So, I'm not, when people order pizza, I usually will just say, get whatever you want. I just don't like anchovies and I don't want anything sweet. I went to a restaurant actually here long ago, and they've since changed names, but they served a very popular pizza. And because we sat down and we said, just give us your most popular pizza. Sometimes Phil and I will just do that. We'll say, just give us your most popular salad, give us your whatever. Right. And they served this pizza that it was so popular, but it had, and I can't remember the sauce that they used, but it was like a sweet vinaigrette kind of sauce. It was like it almost tasted like I was eating like a breakfast kind of croissant or something. It was a sweet,
really?
But it was their most popular pizza, which led me to believe that there are a lot of people out there that do like a kind of a sweet, savory pizza. I just like the traditional, good old, I guess New York style pizza. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you fold it in half to eat it?
No, I don't. I know a lot of people that no.
Yeah, and we were talking about that at the top of the show, and I cringe if that slice is so big that people fold it in half to eat it. But you talk about when we got to Texas, that was really my first time I ever saw where you could get a barbecued chicken or a barbecue like meatball or something pizza that used a barbecue sauce instead of a tomato sauce. But it's tasty, but it's different.
That's the same.
But I don't think there's any parameters to pizza anymore. You can put whatever you want on a pizza, and the ingredients we were talking earlier was you used to get sausage and pepperoni. Those were your basic meats, and then it was mushrooms, onions, and green pepper were your vegetables. Now the list goes on and on and on of the veggies that you can put on it. You can do Canadian bacon, you can do ground beef, you can do meatballs, you can do spicy pepperoni, you can do mild pepperonis, you do chicken. There's
just about anything.
Almost any, you can almost anything.
In fact,
on a pizza.
I am so hungry. I am going to get pizza. You guys can carry on the show. You talk about it. I'm going to eat it.
You're gonna go make pizza.
Yeah, you can make it. Yeah, but well, I mean, they really have creative. We were talking earlier about how you and Lauren add less sauce, whatever that they like. That's always been my son. He doesn't like it when they put too much cheese on it, and so sometimes he'll order his pizza with half the cheese that they normally put on it, or whatever.
Cheese,
and most restaurants or places are pretty accommodating. Are pretty accommodating in terms of how they prepare your pizza, but also pizza crusts. I mean, now you can have a cauliflower crust pizza, which is like healthier because it's not as, I guess, high in carb or whatever. You could do a veggie, like a black bean crust pizza. I mean, there are some places that have become very creative with making their crust healthier. I think that that's kind of really across the board in fast food restaurants. You see McDonald's and Wendy's, they all have that kind of healthy, those healthy choices. Like even in the kids' meal, instead of a side of fries, you could have a bag of apple slices or whatever. You're seeing that too with just pizzerias. They're trying to offer pizza, I guess, ingredients and, just what kind of crust you want. Do you want a whole wheat crust? Do you want a white? So they're trying to make, and pizza can be, okay. It doesn't have to be the big deep pan, crust filled, all kinds of meats and sauces and different
like
you
like variations.
Yeah, you can get a healthy.
And Lauren has a gluten issue. So it's only been, I'd say, the last maybe five years or more that you could even find pizzerias that offered a gluten-free crust option. Now, even Domino's and some of the major chains are offering a gluten-free crust. And that crust could be, as you mentioned, cauliflower. It could be rice-based. It could be, a combination of other grains and all that. Most of them are getting pretty tasty. The gluten-free crusts. I import my deep dish pizza from Lou Malnati's in Chicago. Anybody that's from Chicago knows Lou Malnati's. Lou Malnati's has been around for close to 100 years now, and they just started making a gluten-free deep dish crust. We haven't had it yet, but it's the sign of the times. Just like the ingredients that are going in, you can go into certain places and get a paleo type pizza, vegan pizzas, so that it's even cheeses that are not from cows. It's a different option for cheese. But pizza has become kind of a staple in our society. I mean, I absolutely don't know where I would be if it wasn't for pizza. And I have a tendency to always order a large or an extra large pizza because I'll eat part of it when it's hot and fresh, and I'll eat the rest of it cold out of the refrigerator the next morning for breakfast.
I tell you what, I don't like everything left over, but pizza is definitely one thing that is good left over. And I don't know if it, like even cold, but like Phil will make sure he pops his in the toaster oven or the whatever, the crisp it up a little bit. But I can remember, gosh, in college especially, cold pizza was kind of the breakfast of choice in many cases, because it was just a meal. And that's another thing about pizza, is that it's a good meal that can feed the masses. It's
Right.
always that go-to meal if you're having a slumber party for kids, or just a party for kids, or just a party in general, because it's a cheap meal and it goes a long way. And so for the starving college student, it was always our go-to meal. Well, we always had leftovers. And so slice of cold pizza in the morning running out the door was a very common, thing. But I will never forget one time, and I've told this story before. I knew I had a cold slice of pizza in the refrigerator. I had a roommate at the time, and she had a boyfriend, and I had a cold slice of pizza with my name on it in the refrigerator, waiting for it. And I'm telling you, when I saw that her boyfriend had eaten my cold slice of pizza, I about just broke the lease right then and there. It was, yeah, and that was a cold slice of pizza. But yeah, no, I mean, that's another good thing about pizza, is just that, it's a great go-to meal, and most people do like pizza. So it's also something that's not like, well, do you eat do you want a hamburger? Do you like Chinese food? Do you like Mexican food? I mean, I don't know. It just seems like 9 out of 10 people, maybe 9.5 out of 10 people like pizza. And so it's a safe bet too. When you're ordering for, a party, it's just a safe bet.
Yeah. And again, you mentioned about a go-to, that's what we used to do. We used to wrap up 2 or 3 slices and put it in foil, and you just put it in the refrigerator. And if you were running down to classes in the afternoon, you just grab one of those little packages and put in your book bag, and off you'd go. And then in between classes, you could grab a slice or two. So, it's the everyman's meal.
So I have to ask you, people say Chicago's got the best pizza, New York's got the best pizza, whatever. There's, I personally think, I don't think that you can say what, I don't know, city or state has the best pizza. I think you just find a place that makes the pizza the way you like the pizza, because nowadays they're basically customizing the pizza. So once you find that place that makes your favorite pizza, then that's your favorite place, your favorite pizza.
Yeah, and I agree.
My dad had texted me.
Yeah. Good. What'd your dad say? Because when your dad speaks, I listen.
No. My dad was just saying the original. He was just texting. He's like, the original in New York City, because they're from New York, New Jersey. He said the original New York City pizza in New York City was originally called tomato pies, and that's how they were ordered, simply tomato pie. And that's how so pizza has come a long way from the tomato pie to the deluxe pizzas that they have become today, with the thin crust and the thick crust and the stuff-filled crust and all the different toppings that you can put on your pizza. And, the cheese, no cheese. I will tell you, I'm a thin crust girl. For sure. I'm a thin crust girl. I almost prefer those pizzas that are like crackers, to where, you've got the topping and it's crispy and crunchy, and it's like almost like a thin cracker with the toppings. I prefer that over the big, thick, pizza. And I do like my pizza somewhat firm. Like if you're holding the crust, I like the pizza to be able to stand firm. There's a place here in town, and their pizza is delicious. Pizzeria Testa. I'm sure you've been to it, you and Lauren, down in Main Street.
Yes.
It's delicious pizza, very flavorful pizza, very good pizza. And they're very accommodating. I have asked them to crisp it up a little bit, because it's supposed to be the way they make it, which is to where you have to roll it. You almost have to kind of fold it, I should say. That's how but I prefer it to be a little bit firmer and crispier. But here again, even though that's not what they're going for, they will still accommodate you when you order your pizza if that's how you prefer it. Pizza's become very much a customized meal.
It is. And you said earlier, what's better, Chicago pizza or New York pizza? I think it's unfair because to me, that's like comparing apples and oranges. I think if you want to say, what's the best deep dish pizza? What's the best thin crust pizza? What is the best vegetarian pizza? put them into categories and compare them that way, because from Chicago, I mean, I could put a half a dozen Chicagoans in a room and they'll go back and forth between Lou Malnati's and Giordano's and Gino's and all the different deep dish pizza varieties that there are. In New York, there's, like you said, the thin crust pizza. There's also the hand tossed pizza that's thin with lots of gooey cheese. So there's different kinds of New York pizza. I mentioned at the top of the show, I learned a little bit about Detroit has their own style of pizza, which is usually done kind of in between thin and deep dish, but it's done in a rectangular pan. The closest thing I can think of around here is they have this Jets a pizza around here. It's a carryout place that does it in a pan, which gives you a lot more crunchy crust. But you mentioned Pizzeria Testa. That's probably the closest thing to the Sicilian type pizza, the hand tossed crust. The thought of stuffing the crust with more cheese is I think that's a newer concept, a newer way to do it. I don't really quite understand why you have to stuff the crust with more cheese instead of putting it on the pizza. If you want that, then get some cheese sticks or cheese bread to go with your pizza. But good, I mean, when it started out, you had Pizza Hut. That was like one of the original chains. Now there's a chain pizzeria on almost every corner, and it's pickup and delivery, and especially
Pizza
during
Hut.
COVID, it's all been And
because there were a lot.
Out east, did they have Shakey's Pizza?
I don't know.
In New Jersey?
I don't know. For me, growing up, like when I can, as far back as I can remember anyway, probably around middle school on, Pizza Hut was not only kind of just the pizza that that was out there. There weren't as many places at that time, but it was also our hangout. I mean, some of these pizzerias are, because it is a good meal that can feed the masses, and usually it's affordable. It draws in a younger crowd sometimes. I know that there's a place in Waco, and it's called Shorty's, and that's it serves all the Baylor kids, and I've been there a number of times, and amazing pizza, and they've got the different kinds of calzones that you were talking about, and they're just, it's a hangout. It's not only just it just draws that younger crowd, and I used to hang out at a Pizza Hut growing up, like close to our house, but the pizzas that you were talking about, the kind of the sheet pan pizzas or whatever, I like those. There's a place up here, Fratelli's maybe? I think it's called Fratelli's. And they serve kind of thin crust, cut in squares kind of pizza.
Right.
And I like it. But for some reason, and this is kind of odd, because it really has nothing to do really with the flavor, but I prefer the traditional triangular sliced pizza. I guess just something about the visual, my visual attraction to the food is just the traditional tray. Because I like eating off that tip. Something about eating off the tip of that pizza. That's the best bite. And
that was always the one that burned the top of your mouth too, because that's where the sauce would go, and you take that first bite.
Exactly. Yes, and then the roof of your mouth is burned, and you don't really enjoy the. But I'll be honest with you too. I can't tell you how many times we've put leftover pizza in the refrigerator, and say, you got the munchies. You go in and you lift that little, and you tear off the tip, and you walk away. I can't tell you how many times Phil has been in there to get a leftover piece of pizza, and the tip's been torn off. All the tip. It's kind of like eating off the top of the muffin. Like everybody wants to eat the top of the muffin. Everybody wants to rip that tip of the pizza.
Well, you mentioned the triangle slice. If I'm not mistaken, I think that Pizza Hut or one of the original, those were one of the first pizzerias that used to sell pizza by the slice. Before the fast food places, basically you have to order the whole pie and all. But the one you mentioned, Shorty's down in Waco, can you go in and buy the pizza by the slice?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. We've done pizzas, and I've also done this other dish that they have that Emily kind of turned me on to, which is kind of like a calzone, like what you were talking about, but they don't call it that. But it's kind of like that. It's like a stuffed, almost kind of a stuffed. What would you call it? Calzone, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I guess, but that's not what they call on the menu. It's called something else. But
a calzone by any other name is still a calzone.
Exactly. But talking about this whole tip and crust and all that, do you sometimes find yourself do you always eat your crust?
Thin crust pizza, yeah, I do. Thin crust, yes. If I go out someplace, more traditional pizzeria, and it's got the great big thick crust, I want to spend my time on the meats and cheeses and everything, and I may let the crust go. If I'm real hungry at the end, I might take a piece of crust but it's like sitting and eating a dinner roll. Yeah, after you eat a slice of pizza. So that's why I've never gotten into the more hand tossed or traditional type of pizzas, is because I like now a deep dish pizza is usually a thin crust, but it's a thin crust all the way up the side, and it's a little crunchier. It's not doughy, and that's why I like that. But I'm more of a thin crust person too, on a regular basis. But if it's a deep dish pizza, I got to import it from Chicago. I haven't found one here in DFW yet that compares.
So does that?
I'll keep looking.
Do they send it like frozen, or how do you get that?
Frozen. I get it within a day and a half. It's packed in dry ice, and I usually order them a half a dozen at a time.
So is it? I'm sorry. Is it a thick crust?
Yep. Yeah, they're probably 2 to 3 inches thick. Come in individually, a pan, and you just put it right from freezer into the oven and bake it.
You'll have to text me the name of that place later.
Okay, we'll get together for one sometime. The other thing that they're starting to do is some of the places are making a more or less what I would guess call a crustless pizza. And what they do is they take all the ingredients. One of the local places here is Marco's. And what they've done is they basically take a regular pizza, eliminate the crust, and they put all of the pizza ingredients and everything into like a little casserole. It's a casserole dish, and they bake it that way. So now you're eating almost the exact same ingredients that you would put on a pizza, but they eliminate the crust. See, that's my calorie saving avenue. Figure, well, if I'm eliminating the crust, it's got to be healthier for you.
Well, and it's funny because people, different types of, I don't know, I guess cuisine have now taken on the concept of pizza and taken their ingredients and created their own pizza. Like I think about, I look at recipes, and there are Mexican pizzas now, and which is basically just a layer of Mexican ingredients, whatever. And
the sauce has got taco seasonings and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And so you can, the concept of pizza now has gone, across the board, from not just Italian cuisine or ingredients, but Mexican and even sweets. And you can, I even see desserts, a white cake, pineapple, strawberry pizza or something like that. And so this concept of pizza now has just kind of gone.
Right. No, there are variations. There are Chinese variations. There are Indian variations. Greek variations. You can do a Greek pizza and all that has lamb and feta cheese and all on it. It's just basically taking whatever cuisine you like and putting it on a crust and baking it. And you either love it or you don't. You don't. I remember back in college, there was a local pizzeria. It was called Nick's back in Bloomington, Indiana. And Nick's used to make a special chocolate covered pizza. They would make the pizza whatever way you wanted with whatever ingredients, and the final ingredient, the last couple of minutes, they would drizzle either dark chocolate or milk chocolate on top of the pizza. It sounds disgusting. It has a pretty unique, interesting flavor to it. I don't think I could do it on a regular basis though, because it was mixing spicier ingredients with a sweet chocolate. But back in college, you were crazy enough to try anything once.
Well, that's another conversation for another time, I think.
Right. but
well,
you know,
I do.
Now I was just going to say the other thing now is you cannot watch television for more than an hour without at least one or two commercial breaks promoting some kind of a pizza place. Little Caesars, Domino's, whatever, and the deals out there. The buy one get one free. Buy a large specialty pizza, get a one topping large pizza for $5. They're all working on the deals to get those pizzas out, and they are. Do you usually pick up your pizza, or do you have it delivered? You just froze up on me.
Usually have it delivered. Usually, just because usually when we're ordering a pizza, like I said, I mean, it's like Phil and I are not going to order a pizza, just the two of us sitting home or whatever. We're just, or very seldom will we go to a restaurant and order a big pie.
Yeah,
meal that.
Do you find that the delivery has improved?
I've never, delivery's been great. I mean, we order from local places around here, so delivery is usually not a problem. However, we now have there's a local restaurant here, Gallinero, that we like a lot, and they make just great pizza. They don't deliver, but it's right down the hill, so we just go pick it up. But for the most part, if I'm ordering pizza, I'm gonna have it delivered, because I'm probably serving a group of people and we're hanging and we're not wanting to get out. So
I think that's improved over the years. Yeah, it's gotten better, because I remember years ago when you got your pizza, it was probably half cold already, because the pizza places would go out and deliver to 4 or 5 places at once. Now when it arrives, it's usually piping hot. Much improved.
Somebody, I don't remember who I was talking to just the other day about this, before you and I had even talking about pizza. Somebody the other day was just saying that until they come up with a way. I mean, the pizza is always hot, but the thing about pizza, especially if you want that crispy, thin, kind of crunchy crust, when you put it in the cardboard box, it's going to stay hot, but it's just going to naturally steam itself. So it just, there's no comparison. While delivered pizza is still good, it's not going to be just quite as good as it is if it's just served directly to your table, because from oven to table is just going to be different and better by a little bit than it is after putting it into a cardboard box, closing it, and having it steam itself all the way to your house. It's still good and it's still hot, but it's just not going to be quite as good. So I think deliveries are fine. They're timely and all that. But I think that deliveries could only get better in terms of how they package it. I know they're putting it into the bags and they're trying to keep it, I don't know. But somebody just the other day was telling me that that's why their pizza never is as good as it is if it is served directly to the table, because it's in that box, closed, staying hot, but a little. So deliveries are good for the most part.
Yeah, well, when they bring it to your table, they bring it on that hot pan. And also, so that hot pan that was baked in is still kind of warm, and it'll keep it a little bit warmer. Do you ever reheat a slice of pizza? You know, that you've kept it in the refrigerator, you reheat it?
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And how do you reheat it?
We keep a stone.
Oh, yeah.
We have a stone. We have a stone in our oven. It's always in there. It's just a stone that we put everything on, and we just put it on that stone and kind of set it pretty high and get it all nice and crispy, crunchy, and eat it. Yep.
My son turned us on to something. We used to just take a slice or two, put it on a plate, and put it in the microwave oven, and microwave it for 30 seconds or a minute and everything. He says the best way to do it is take the pizza and put it in a fry pan and put it on the stove and just heat it up on the stove. And that way you're heating it from the crust up. And when you see the cheese start to get a little bit warm and moist, then it's good. And it makes the crust crispier again too.
That's a very good idea. That's a very...
I told you, this is not only a fun show, it's an educational show too. You can learn something from us.
That's a very, very good idea. We usually just pop it, like I said, we have that stone, put it in the oven, but doing it in especially if you have a cast iron skillet, pop it in there, turn the stove. That's a very good idea. I'll be doing that.
There you go. And I think the time has come for us to wrap up the show and go pick up the phone and call and order pizza. Because I'm so hungry for pizza right now. In fact, when we order pizza, sometimes you said sometimes that you and Phil don't want to get a pizza just for the two of you. When Lauren and I order, sometimes we'll order 3 pizzas or 4 pizzas because we'll have one tonight and the others we wrap up in the foil and put it in the refrigerator. So now we got pizza for days. So whatever you like your pizza, enjoy it. If you're thick crust, deep dish, Sicilian, Italian, New York, Detroit, Chicago, just enjoy
your pizza.
That's right. So go off and make it a great week and a great weekend, and join us next week. And we're going to talk about something other than food next time, because this is agonizing to talk about food.
You're off cooking your pizza right now, so you're all good.
I hope so. I'm starting to catch the aroma. So take care. Make it a good one. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.